The very optimistic hope would be that the freedoms in Hong Kong would spill over into the mainland, and that it was a time of reform in the mainland and of openness, and that we'd see more of that, and that mainland China would become more like Hong Kong was then. That was a hope, and it was, I don't think, shared by a majority of people, but it certainly was the line that was spread by much of the ruling Chinese elite. We've seen exactly the opposite happen, of course.
And so, what will be the mood in Hong Kong as this anniversary is marked? Are there events planned, or is it sort of just being shrugged off?
Well, the mood officially will be one of triumphalism, of a sea of red Chinese flags with the gold stars, and the president and general secretary of the Communist Party, Xi Jinping, paying a brief visit to celebrate the what they see as the successful reintegration of Hong Kong into the mainland. I think the mood among the majority of Hong Kong people, the 6 out of 10 Hong Kongers who consistently vote for democracy, will be one of wearied resignation, if not outright sadness and even rage.
And how is Britain seen now in Hong Kong 25 years on? I mean, clearly, more recently, the British government's been offering visas for Hong Kongers to come to the UK. But how is Britain viewed there?
Well, I think there's a good deal of nostalgia, particularly among the young people who don't even really remember Britain, but are aware that these were sort of the halcyon, the Panglossian days of golden summers and freedom. Chris Patten, the last governor, presided over a remarkable opening of Hong Kong society, above all in terms of moving towards democracy. But it was a period of freedom and flowering that, by the way, it continued for some time and saw Hong Kongers become, I think, freer and more open and expressive, both at the ballot box and in artistic venues. I mean, really throughout society, and above all in civil society, in the media. I was involved with a pro-democracy newspaper there that was shut down a year ago, but it was pretty much anything goes. It was as free as you'd see in a London newspaper. That's all gone, finished. Those places are shut and the people are in jail.
And is that forever, do you think?
Nothing's forever, and I don't think communist regimes last forever. The Berlin Wall went up and the Berlin Wall came down, and I think that there's enough freedom that's coded into the DNA of the Hong Kong people that there's a possibility that things can improve, but that's going to take a big change in China. And instead, we're seeing a continuing tightening. The new chief executive, effectively the mayor of Hong Kong, coming in, is a hardline security official who's presided over this crackdown in the last couple of years that's seen 10,000 political prisoners, scores of people being held without trial for a year or more. So, in the long term, things will change. In the short and the medium term, it's hard to be too optimistic.
Is there, without putting too much of a down on it, a risk that things get a lot worse before they get better? And what impacts that have on, not just those who, like you said, those at the forefront of these things, they end up in jail, but just the mindset of people who are, generations of people who've grown up in free Hong Kong, if you like, and now seeing this happening. What impact does that have more broadly?
Well, one impact it's have you alluded to, which is hundreds of thousands of people, like, former people who used to work for me, clerical staff, administrative people, moving because they're used to freedom. Most of Hong Kong's 7.5 million people don't have that option or won't take that option. So I think they'll burrow into their own personal and family lives, and they'll mourn the death and the memory of a Hong Kong that they knew, that allowed for a free press, that allowed for free religion, that allowed for rule of law, that are allowed for good governance, all things that are gone.
Mark, it's really good to speak to you, albeit on a slightly depressing note, but thanks so much for joining us on
Well,
Time.
thank you for your interest, and I know the people of Hong Kong are listening and remembering and appreciate the goodwill and the concern that Britain still has for Hong Kong. There's a special relationship, and it's one that comes with responsibility, and we appreciate it.